สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Today I have a recipe to share with you that is a classic dish of northern Thailand with a very fun name, Gaeng Ho. So Ho in the northern Thai dialect means a mix of stuff. And the reason it's called that is because it started out with people just throwing together some leftovers and turning it into a new dish. So typically this would be a leftover curry called Gaeng Hangle, which is a northern curry, and then they throw in a bunch of vegetables and they add glass noodles and then they turn it into basically a glass noodle stir fry flavored by Gaeng Hangle. But today I'm going to share with you how you can make this dish without having to have leftover Gaeng Hangle. So, you don't have to go and make Gaeng Hangle first. So we're going to create the flavor right here. All right, let's get started. So even though theoretically this is a mishmash of whatever leftovers you have, you can change up the vegetables, change up the curry. The one thing that you have to have in order for it to be a Gaeng Ho is glass noodles, okay? So today I am once again using Pine Brand Glass Noodles, who is the sponsor of today's episode. And if you've been following the show, you know this is my favorite brand because it is made from 100% mung bean starch, and that's important in glass noodles because it gives you the best texture and it will be the most resistant to overcooking. And it's a really versatile noodle. All you have to do is soak it in just room temperature water and let it soak for 7 to 10 minutes. But if it goes longer, no big deal, until it's soft and pliable like this, okay? And you want to cut them. Otherwise, when comes serving time, it'll be really long and really difficult. And I like to cut them into 3 different sections. And I know some people say, oh, if you cut noodles, it's bad luck. Well, not in Thailand. I want to add also that because the noodles come neatly organized like this, when you're draining and soaking it, don't toss it and mix it up because then you'll have a hard time like cutting them into sections, right? Then everything's kind of mixed up. I want to give you a quick tip as well. If you, for whatever reason, are ready to cook and you realize you've forgotten to soak, all you have to do is just turn your tap water to the hottest that it can go and soak it in a lot of that hot tap water, and it only takes 1 to 2 minutes before it's soft enough for you to cut again. And then for protein, I'm gonna go with pork belly. You can use whatever, but I use pork belly because it is typically the protein in Gaeng Hangle, right? And I got lazy and I bought the hot pot pork belly that's been pre-sliced, but you can use whatever protein you want. I'm gonna just marinate this a little bit with some soy sauce just so the pork has some flavor. And because the pork is thinly sliced, it's a little hard to separate them. I'm gonna just add a little bit of oil just to help them slide apart a little bit more. I'm just gonna mix that up. So that's that. Let me wash my hands and I'll go through all the other ingredients. So how we're going to create Gaeng Hangle flavor is in our curry paste. So I'm going to start out with red curry paste as a base. You can use store-bought, you can make your own. I have a recipe for that. I'll link to it. And red curry paste is a good base curry paste from which you can build other flavors, okay? And to make it Hangle flavor, I'm going to add Hangle curry powder, which is just a mix of spices that I do have a recipe for, I'll link to, but you can also, for a lazy version, just buy store-bought garam masala and use that as well. And also, Gaeng Hangle uses some ginger, so I've got some finely julienne ginger in there as well. And this right here is how I'm gonna get that Hangle flavor. So the spirit of this dish is that you can use whatever vegetables that you have sitting around, but I want to show you some classic Thai vegetables that people add into Gaeng Ho, okay? And you can use this if you have it, and you just use carrots if you don't have it. So Thai eggplant is a really classic thing people add, and they're these beautiful, round, firm eggplant. They're great in curries, great in stir fries because they're a little firmer, so they don't mush the same way Japanese or globe eggplant will. And then for this, I'm going to just do slices because I'm going to stir fry it quickly. It's not going to have a lot of time to cook. The other vegetable that's very common is long beans. I couldn't actually find long beans, but what I did find is even better. Fresh baby corn. So fresh baby corn is something that we use a lot in Thai cuisine, but for whatever reason, people just don't use it here. Like there's corn all over the place, but people don't buy fresh baby corn. But I scored them at the Asian store, so I just wanted to use them here. And they're a great vegetable to use for this because they're firm and crunchy. They're just so good and so much better than the canned or frozen ones. And then you also want to have some leafy vegetables, something sturdier. So I got some wild beetle leaves or bai chaplu, which is also used a lot in Gaeng Ho, but you can do Swiss chard, you can do sort of Chinese broccoli leaves, any leafy greens. That's a little sturdy, so not like baby spinach, just gonna disappear. Oh, and they have such a unique aroma that's kind of earthy. Oh, here, Adam, smell this and tell me what it smells like. So unique, right? You can't really describe it. You can't compare it to anything. Apart from that, I've got some sliced lemongrass and makrut lime leaves that I'm gonna add at the end for that fresh flavor. And that's it, we're ready to cook. All right, so I've got a wok here. I'm gonna preheat it. I'm gonna add just a little bit of oil, not too much because I am cooking the pork belly first, which has a lot of fat in itself. So you know me, I like to cook off my protein separately just because then I can control how done they are. They're not overcooked. Okay. Oh yeah, we got a little bit of nice browning at the bottom. Very nice. So all that's done, and you want this fully cooked because we're not really gonna cook this again. So I'll turn this off, get that out of the pan. And now with what's left, that's delicious pork fat that I'm going to use to saute my curry paste in, but I'm not turning the heat back on because I'm adding dry spices, and dry spices can burn very quickly. So if your pan is too hot, you add the dry spices and they can instantly burn. So I'm just gonna leave it off, take my time, adding my things, my hung lei powder, my ginger, and then I turn the heat back on to gently heat everything. Get that mixed up. Okay, and now we turn that on. Just on medium, not too high. If it's starting to stick a little bit, you want to deglaze with some water. Man, this stove does not do low heat very well. There, you want to saute that until it's really aromatic. Okay, so now the curry... that is spicy smelling. And it smells so good now. I'm going to add my vegetables. My firm vegetables. By the way, if you have some chicken stock lying around, use that instead of water for extra flavor. I'm going to give that a toss. And these just need a few minutes to cook. And if it's getting a little dry, you can add that little extra water. Now, there's one more vegetable that is so classic in Gaeng Ho. It's really hard to find, but I actually managed to find it and I really wanted to show you. But I forgot to bring it. Oh well, what I'm talking about is pickled bamboo shoot, or rather fermented bamboo shoots. So sour bamboo shoots. If you want to use it, just check out the written recipe. There's a little bit of prep that goes into getting them ready for use. So now at this point, you want the eggplant to be, it obviously depends what kind of vegetable you're using. You want to get it sort of like halfway cooked. This is when you want to go with the noodles. So I'm going to add my noodles and a little bit of water, because the noodles do need a little extra water to cook. I'm going to add some fish sauce as a seasoning, some sugar, which may look like a lot of sugar, but trust me, once it's all done, it's not actually going to be a sweet tasting dish. But there's a lot of salty, spicy stuff right now that the sugar is really needed for balance. So let that cook until the noodles absorb the liquid and become translucent and tender, which glass noodles only take a couple minutes. This is why I love glass noodles. They cook so quick, they're quick to prep, so versatile. And Adam is about to pass out from chili fumes. But what else is new? So once the noodles are almost done, I'm gonna go in with my bai chapu, because even though it's a leafy green, it's a little sturdier and they do take a little bit more time to soften. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this is gonna be spicy. Okay, I'm gonna add my pork back in to give it a chance to absorb all the flavor. Oh yes. And just as you're about to finish, I'm going to turn off the heat and add my fresh lemongrass and lime leaves, and those things are gonna add just that bright freshness to counteract sort of the rich, warm spices that we've got going on in here. Oh my, 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 my. And that's it. How quick and easy was that? See, that's the spirit of this dish. Got a bunch of leftovers. You throw it together, and next thing you know, you got food. Oh, okay. Oops. Get back here. Oh, if you could only be here to smell this amazing dish. The smell of all of those spices and all the herbs in the red curry paste. And if you do have the bamboo shoots, you will get that distinct bamboo aroma as well, which not everybody likes. Like my husband really does not like that. So when I make things at home, I don't add the bamboo. Or I add it and then he complains about it. Look at that. Now, if this looks a little drab, you can always add some chilies on top and make it even spicier than it already is. There you go. Fresh chilies fix all presentation problems. Now, even though this is noodles, you want to serve this with rice because trust me, that is a very strong flavor. It's not something you want to eat a whole bowl of. And in the north, this would typically be served with sticky rice, but jasmine rice would work just fine. Yes, this is a carb-on-carb situation, but glass noodles actually is one of the lowest glycemic noodles out there. So it's actually not that bad. And we usually serve glass noodle dishes with rice all the time. Oh, I didn't get any Thai eggplant. There we go. You gotta have the Thai eggplant. All right, make sure I have some pork, some corn, definitely some noodles, a little bit of rice, some betel leaves, a little bit of everything. Oh, it's so aromatic because of all those spices that we added. If that is not one of the most flavorful dishes I've ever had, then I don't know what is. There is so much going on. The flavor of the curry paste is already lots, and add all of those spices, and it's a lot of flavor, but it all works together really well. Like it's not too much, and the crunch of the vegetables, the baby corn, everything, man. This is an experience you've got to try. Another thing that came into mind when I ate this was that this tastes very Thai. Like this is one of those dishes that when you eat it, it's like unmistakably Thai flavor. And the noodles, even though it's noodles and rice, it's not too much because glass noodles are so light and they've got this really fun texture that it just really works. And that is it. I hope you give this a try. The recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com. And when you make it, you can send me a photo on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you do so you don't miss an awesome recipe like this. And click the bell icon as well so you get a notification when I post a new video. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal.